Dun 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 dun. Little pig, let me in.
If you like me and like what I do here, it means the world to me and helps a lot if you choose to become a sponsor on my Patreon page. Alrighty, we are starting off this Lucille tutorial with a variety of supplies. You're going to need a wooden bat or a foam one, but I wanted to use a real Louisville slugger. Paint thinner is what I would recommend for taking off the logo. Some sandpaper. I got some fake barbed wire off of Amazon. Yes, that is a thing. You'll need silver paint, some sponges, red paint, brown paint, and then wood stain. I am actually going to be staining the wood with a mixture of coffee and wool dye because I don't have any ventilation and it was really cold out when I was making this. So I am using a brush just to lightly lather the entire bat in that darker stain. Basically, I wanted it to look like a darker cherry wood like Negan's Lucille in the actual show. Make sure you remove all of the logos with paint thinner. It'll save you a lot of time instead of sanding like I did. But make sure you do get off all of the sealant on the bat so the paint and everything you're applying to it sticks really nicely. After I have that red-brown stain down, I am going to be mixing together the liquid stain I already have and red paint and black paint. I wanted the bat to look like it's been bludgeoning zombies for months on end, so it has this blood stain deeply ingrained into the bat. Let that bad boy dry, and I'm going to be moving on to preparing the barbed wire. The barbed wire is a mixture of string that's tied together and dyed slightly silver. I thought the little pokey bits that are the barbs looked kind of dumb, so I decided to trim down the little bits to make them short and stumpy, and they looked way more realistic after this. So I'm just doing that. I ended up buying only one package of this barbed wire, and that was plenty. So I'm just trimming off all the bits, and I am going to be using a silver paint. This stuff is Rub and Buff. It's like a super metallic, gooey little paint that I am rubbing all over the string. You could also get silver spray paint and lay this outside, but like I said, I didn't have any ventilation, so I'm trying to do the lowest off-gas stuff I could find. So just rub that all into the string. Make sure every bit is coated, and I'm still leaving some of the black because I wanted it to look tarnished. Once the string has been evenly coated, just let it dry. And now it's time for the logos. So clearly The Walking Dead was referencing a Louisville slugger for this, but obviously they didn't want to pay the royalties, so they have a reference to the logo on the bat. It's basically that oblong oval shape, and it's pretty tarnished and there's no words on it. So I'm just using a black acrylic paint to do that. And now it's time for the best part, the blood splatters. I am mixing brown and red acrylic paint together just like I did before, but it's way thicker now because I'm not adding any liquid. I am splattering all the paint on the bat, keeping most of the splatters concentrated to the end of the bat where you're doing the bludgeoning. This is a very strange tutorial. Once I have some of those paint splatters on there, I am using a paper towel just to dab it around. There's really no specific time that you need to stop or whatever. It's just a lot of buildup of blood. I wanted some of it to just look like staining, and I wanted some of it to have like chunky splattered bits on the bat. So I'm just using that splatter technique combined with the dabbing technique back and forth till it looks like the way I want it to. One thing I couldn't achieve though was the shine, so I decided to get some Mod Podge and go over certain blood splatters after it had dried. This Mod Podge is the shiny kind, so when it dries it'll create the little sheen so it looks like the blood is still wet. Then I'm also using a little chisel brush to add a couple more tiny little blood splatters all over the place. Then I'm sealing the entire thing in workable fixative. And now it's time for the barbed wire. I was having some difficulty getting this on. I was gonna originally glue it down and have it in like layers, but that ended up being way more complicated than I thought it would be, so I just decided to wrap it around really tightly and just create a lot of tension. Make sure the starting point is tied to the piece of string. And then I'm just wrapping it around as best as I can. Lucille has most of the barbed wire parts primarily at the barrel of the bat at the end. So that's just what I'm doing, and I'm weaving the string in and out of itself just so it has some sort of stability and does actually stay together. And just, you know, weasel around with it till it gets to do what you want it to. I am really excited with how this bat looked. This was my first ever prop tutorial, so if you guys want to see more prop tutorials, please let me know. Make that barbed wire all bloody. I'm going to be painting that red-brown stain just over pretty much the entire place. I want the barrel of the bat to be the darkest because that's where the most blood staining would happen. I'm repeating the splattering technique with the acrylic paint all over the barbed wire. This could be really messy, which is why I had this like janky lid down to protect the table, but make sure you're not on top of like nice carpet or a dining table because there were some stray splatters. The paint also helped kind of adhere the string to the bat, so that was pretty handy. I decided I needed a little bit more blood splattering because the bat wasn't gross enough to my liking, so I added some bloody handprints all the way down the handle, like I had mentioned before, but it needed to be darker. No matter how much paint I added though, I couldn't get any chunky bits, so I decided to use some SFX liquid latex and mix it with the paint. So now I am going to be just blobbing that on so we can get some nice, thick, gory bits onto that bat. By the way, the liquid latex will keep these chunky bits shiny too, so they will look like fresh gore. So, I never thought that creating a bloody bat could be therapeutic, but honestly this was pretty therapeutic because there's really no rhyme or reason to where you gotta put the paint. You gotta splatter it, you kinda just gotta have fun with it. So don't forget to have fun, don't take it too seriously. But I really like how this turned out. This is my Lucille for my Negan body paint. I really like how it turned out. Please guys, let me know if you want to see any more prop tutorials. I really hope you guys are having a absolutely lovely fall, and I wanted to wish you guys a happy Halloween. I know it's not here yet, but like I'm super excited, and prepare yourself because there's going to be many, many more tutorials this month. Love you all. And I actually ended my intro early. This like never happens. But I want to say a huge thank you to my wonderful Patreon producers. You guys make my life. Thank you so much. I'll see you next video.